There was once a hare who was friends with a tortoise. One day he challenged the tortoise to a race. Seeing how slow the tortoise was going, the hare thought he'd win this easily. So, he took a nap while the tortoise kept on going. When the hare woke, he saw that the tortoise was already at the finish line. Much to his chagrin, the tortoise won the race while he was busy sleeping. Moral of the story: the hare teaches that overconfidence can sometimes ruin you. After flying a long distance, a thirsty crow wandered the forest searching for water. Finally, he saw a pot half filled with water. He tried to drink from it, but his beak wasn't long enough to reach the water inside. He then saw pebbles on the ground, and one by one, he put them in the pot until the water rose to the brim. The crow then hastily drank from it and quenched his thirst. Moral of the story: if there's a will, there's a way. Every problem has a solution if we look hard and don't give up. There was a boy named John who was so lazy he couldn't even change his clothes. One day he saw the apple tree in their yard was full of fruits. He wanted to eat some apples, but he was too lazy to climb the tree and take the fruits. So he lay down underneath the tree and waited for the fruits to fall off. John waited until he was starving, but the apples never fell. Moral of the story: laziness can get you nowhere. If you want something, you need to work hard for it. Once there was a hungry fox who stumbled upon a vineyard. After seeing the round, juicy grapes hanging in a bunch, the fox drooled, but no matter how high he jumped, he couldn't reach for it. So he told himself that it was probably sour and left. That night he had to sleep on an empty stomach. Moral of the story: most of us tend to act like the fox. When we want something but think it's too hard to attain, we make excuses. We tell ourselves that it's probably not that great instead of working hard for it. There was once a shepherd boy who liked to play tricks. One day, while he was watching over the herd, the boy decided to play a trick and cried, "Wolf, wolf!" The next day he did it again, and people rushed to his aid, only to be disappointed again. On the third day, the boy saw a wolf devouring one of his sheep and cried for help, but the people who heard him thought this was just another of the boy's pranks, so no one came to help him. That day, the boy lost some of his sheep to the wolf. Moral of the story: if you always lie and cheat on other people, there will come a time when no one will believe you anymore. There was once a slave who was treated cruelly by his master. One day, he couldn't take it anymore and ran to the forest to escape. There, he chanced upon a lion who couldn't walk because of the thorn in its paw. Although scared, the slave mustered his courage and took out the thorn in the lion's paw. When the lion was finally free of the thorn, he ran into the forest and didn't harm the slave. Sometime later, the slave was caught by his master along with some animals in the forest. The master then ordered the slave to be thrown into the lion's den. When the slave saw the lion, he recognized it as the lion he helped in the forest. The slave was able to escape the den unharmed, and he freed all the other animals. Moral of the story: the good you did will always have a way of returning to you, so do good deeds and be kind to others, and the world will be kind to you. There was once a proud elephant who constantly bullied smaller animals. He would go to the anthill near his home and spray water at the ants. The ants, with their size, could do nothing but cry. The elephant just laughed and threatened the ants that he would crush them to death. One day the ants had enough and decided to teach the elephant a lesson. They went straight into the elephant's trunk and started biting him. The elephant could only howl in pain. He realized his mistake and apologized to the ants and all the animals he bullied. Moral of the story: be humble and treat everyone with kindness. If you think you're stronger than others, use your strength to protect them instead of harming them.